Lammle's is a fabulous Western wear and tack store. We operate 28 stores, I guess, in Western Canada. That's BC, Alberta, and Saskatchewan. Our mission really is to encourage as many people as we can and to live in the Western lifestyle. And we encourage them by creating an amazing selection of Western wear.
We carry everything from top to bottom, hats to boots. So hats, jeans, shirts, belts, buckles, boots, socks, you name it, anything Western, both men and ladies, kids, along with all the accessory items that go along with it.
Corporately, we operate under Lammle's Western Wear, but we run with 3 different names over the doors: Boutique Leathers, Open Road, and Lammle's Western Wear. Lammle's Western Wear is by far the biggest. I started Boutique Leathers as a sole owner way back in 1971. An opportunity came up to get into the Western wear business, and that was in 1983. And we actually opened 3 stores in very quick succession.
Very smart businessman. He's been in business for a lot of years, so he knows what he has to do and he knows what he has done, and he isn't afraid to try something new and different.
I'm not one that likes to go into major debt, so we just grew 1 store a year for all these years, really. We seem to get a lot of really good staff that stay for a long time. I have 2 employees, one in particular that started with me day 1, and he's still here today.
I went down to the Boutique Leathers office, had my interview, and it just started from there.
I started in '83 with them, but I left in 2000, took a bit of a hiatus for 5 years, and then came back in 2005 and have been here since.
I really appreciate my staff a lot, because it's not all about Barry, it's about our team. At one point, my mother ran her own beauty hair salon. My dad ran a general store that he owned. Then we went into farming. We moved into the city when I was about 12, at which time I started mowing lawns just as a kid for spending money. My family was certainly not wealthy. I went to school. I took merchandising administration at SAIT. So after I graduated, I started working at a major department store. Combined with my merchandising administration at SAIT and this department store, I've really had a lot of retail formal experience. And the opportunity came to start my own business, so that's what I did. I have 3 children. My eldest is a daughter. She worked with me with Boutique for many years.
In 2000, I think it was, my dad approached me and invited me to take on a marketing manager role at Boutique Leathers.
For our daughter to work with her dad in the company, I thought was absolutely wonderful.
It was good because he taught me everything. The dad invited my brother to come to Boutique Leathers. We had a need there.
He was in charge of, as well as being a major boot buyer, he's in charge of the e-commerce department, and he's obviously my next successor.
He just works very hard at what he does and is very responsible.
My youngest son, also an entrepreneur, he runs his own landscaping business in the summer. In the wintertime, he has a place in Golden. He rents that out, and he spends the winter skidooing and snowboarding.
So my dad's been a very successful businessman. He's always had his fingers in a number of pies. At a young age, it was with the llamas and alpacas.
We were likely the largest llama and alpaca ranch in the world at one point. We had up to 750 animals at our ranch in De Winton. And you know, that's a business that my wife was really hands-on as much as I was. We started the business on the ranch here in a very small scale, but then on a trip to Australia, I became aware of an opportunity to buy a bunch of animals and negotiated with 3 other partners and bought a huge herd of animals in New Zealand. We ultimately moved them to Australia.
And then when it came time to bring these animals here to Canada, it was quite an adventure, hiring a 747 to fly to Australia and bring that herd home.
A lot of the work fell back on Marie. Okay, she's a nurse by trade, and she's great at animal husbandry and all that.
You know, when I look back at that, having such a successful ranching business as well as your full-time day job with Lammle's and Boutique, I think, how did he do that? Like, how did he find a number of hours in the day?
I'm very proud of where Lammle's has got to in these days. Well, I'd like Lammle's Western Wear to continue on as a family legacy. And to that end, I'm working with a succession plan where a family member will succeed me. People say to me, why do you work so hard, or things like this, and I look at it and I say, you know what, I don't really work that hard. I look forward to going to work every day. If you like what you're doing, I don't think you ever work hard at all, and I really feel that way.
He's just a very personable guy. I mean, when we sit around and it's not work, although he's almost always working, just in case you didn't know that.
There are certain people around that are saying, gee, Barry, when are you going to retire? My wife is one. She'll say, when are you going to retire? How do you spell retirement? And I say, L-A-M-M-L-E-S. That's my answer to retirement.